Everyone wants to know if 200 IQ is real, and the honest answer is that no standardized test today can even measure that high, because the scale itself breaks down past 160 to 170. But that single fact is not the end of the story, it is the beginning. Because what actually separates a genius brain from an average one is not some fixed number, it is a set of trainable cognitive systems, and history has already proven this. William James Sidis, one of the most documented child prodigies in history, was reading newspapers at 18 months old, and was giving lectures on four-dimensional bodies at Harvard by the age of 11. And while later historians dispute the exact number attached to his intelligence, what is undisputed is the method his father Boris Sidis used: total immersion, deep focus, and zero passive learning. Every subject was taught through direct engagement, not memorization, and that single principle changed the entire trajectory of a human brain. Then look at Nikola Tesla, a man who did not need blueprints on paper because he built entire machines inside his mind. First, he called it visualization. He would construct an invention, mentally run it for weeks, let it operate, simulate wear and failure, and only then build it physically. This is not mysticism. This is what modern neuroscience now calls mental simulation and working memory training. And it is scientifically proven that visualization activates the same neural pathways as physical practice. These are not myths. These are documented historical facts. And even Marilyn Savant, who once held the highest recorded score in the Guinness Book of World Records, was raised in an environment that constantly pushed her toward wordplay, logic puzzles, and reading dense material from an early age, proving again that environment and repeated cognitive demand shaped the outcome far more than luck ever could. But here is where it gets even more interesting, because fiction sometimes reveals psychological truth more clearly than reality. Take Ayanokoji from Classroom of the Elite, a character built entirely around one discipline, removing emotional interference from decision-making. He does not react. He calculates. Every single move is based on outcome, not impulse. And this mirrors a real cognitive skill called emotional regulation under pressure, which top-performing minds in chess, medicine, and strategy all train deliberately. Then look at L. Lolliot from Death Note, a character whose entire existence is built on observation before action. He does not speak until he has processed every variable in a room. He sits in unusual positions to maximize blood flow for cognition. He eats sugar deliberately for rapid glucose energy to the brain. And while the show fictionalizes it, the underlying idea is real. Glucose timing genuinely affects short-term cognitive performance. And now compare that to Light Yagami, a character who represents something different, not raw intelligence but strategic foresight. He thinks 5 steps ahead, constructs contingency plans, and manipulates variables before they even happen. This is what psychologists call executive function, the ability to plan, sequence, and adapt. And here's the powerful truth. None of these examples, fictional or real, were relying on some fixed genetic ceiling. They were all running the same 7 systems that neuroscience confirms actually build cognitive capacity. Sleep is the first and most non-negotiable one, because deep sleep is when your brain performs memory consolidation and synaptic cleanup, and a single night of poor sleep can drop your working memory by 20 to 30%. This is not opinion. This is measured repeatedly in sleep lab studies around the world. And even Tesla himself was known for obsessive sleep discipline, despite his eccentric lifestyle, because he understood that a tired mind cannot visualize with precision. And modern athletes and chess grandmasters now track their sleep with the same seriousness as their training sessions, because they know one bad night can quietly erase weeks of progress. Second is chronic stress reduction, because MRI imaging has directly shown that prolonged cortisol exposure physically shrinks the hippocampus, the exact region responsible for memory and learning. And this is why chronically anxious minds often underperform their true potential, no matter how naturally sharp they are. Third is cardiovascular exercise, because physical movement triggers the release of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which literally grows new neurons in the hippocampus. This is one of the most replicated findings in all of neuroscience, and it applies equally to a Harvard prodigy and to an average student sitting quietly at home. Right now, fourth is deliberate practice, the same principle used by every prodigy in history, including Sidis, where you push slightly beyond your comfort zone consistently, which physically restructures neural pathways over time. Fifth is reading dense, difficult material, not passive scrolling, but content that forces your brain to slow down and think in structured, logical steps. because this trains abstract reasoning and working memory simultaneously, and this single habit alone separates high-performing minds from distracted ones more than almost anything else. Sixth is nutrition, specifically omega-3 fatty acids and stable blood sugar, because your brain is 60% fat and needs consistent fuel, not sugar spikes and crashes. And seventh is structured working memory training like dual end-back exercises, which peer-reviewed studies have shown can create measurable improvements in fluid intelligence. And here is the moment that changes everything. The number 200 was never really the goal, because IQ tests only measure a narrow slice of pattern recognition under timed pressure. But memory speed, focus, decision-making, and strategic thinking, the actual traits behind every genius, fictional or historical, are all trainable systems that respond to consistent input. Tesla trained visualization, Sidis trained immersive focus, VOS, Savant trained language and logic. Ayanokoji represents emotional control, L represents observational depth, and Light represents strategic foresight. And every single one of these is a skill, not a birthright, which means the real question was, never can you reach 200 IQ. The real question is, are you willing to train the 7 systems that actually built every legendary mind in history and fiction? Because the brain does not care about a number, it only responds to what you consistently demand from it every single day. And the moment you start training these systems instead of chasing a number, you will feel your own thinking become sharper, faster, and calmer within weeks, not years. Because unlike genetics, these 7 systems are fully within your control starting today, starting with your very next hour. And that is the real difference between people who stay average forever and the ones history and fiction both remember as truly unforgettable legendary geniuses.